Good morning everyone, and this is the first of 4 videos to help you prepare for the Religious Studies or the PRE GCSE exam. Now I've called it Marginal Gains and Exam Tips, and in this video I'm going to talk through the overview of what to expect in terms of timings, in terms of what the paper looks like, and in this video I'm going to run through the Study of Religions paper, some tips for the 4 markers and the 5 markers. The videos to follow will be on the ethics paper, as well as 2 videos, 1 video each for the 12 markers, how to write a 12 marker, and I'm going to live model how to write a 12 marker on the Study of Religions paper and how to write a 12 marker on the ethics paper. As ever, for further information and resources, go to your Teams group, which I'll show you in a moment, use your revision grid, and use the past paper questions available. Okay, let's get going then. So in terms of marginal tips and exam gains, let's talk about a few things. Today I'm recording the video on Wednesday the 13th of April. I think some really important things to do between now and, as you can see, the 16th of May, which is when your first exam is for the Religious Studies GCSE. The best thing to do is to practice in conditions as close to the exam conditions as possible. Now, in terms of where you can find these questions, if you go to your Teams group, whatever your Teams group is called, with either myself or Miss Welton or Mrs. Griffin, here this is 11GC, this is in the revision folder, you'll see 2 pieces of information on Christianity and Buddhism, very helpful for the Study of Religions paper. Then you'll see 2 other things, the GCSE past paper questions, which is what you can use, and then the revision grid, the latest version, which I'll show you in a moment as well. So the past paper questions has, of course, all of the past paper questions for each of the papers. Paper 1, which is the religion paper, and paper 2, which is the ethics paper. So use those to practice with. In terms of the exams, you will have 2 exams. Each exam is an hour and 45 minutes. That is 4 sets of 24 markers, the sorts of assessment that we do at the end of the units and that you've done in your mock exam. So it's 4 of those back to back. Now, just in terms of your timings, if you add up the marks for the amount of time, it is 1 mark per 1 minute, which is the time frame we've been going through for the entire 3 years of this course. 1 mark per 1 minute, and that's really, really important for your timing in practice conditions. Okay, I think you can go up to 15 minutes for the 12 marker if you save time on the 1 and 2 marker, the multiple choice and the bullet points. If you save time on those, the 12 markers, you could spend up to 15 minutes, but that's an absolute maximum. Sticking to those times is absolutely vital. As I said, the first paper on the Study of Religions, that's Christianity and Buddhism for us, is on the 16th of May. So that's just over a month from today. The ethics paper, that is the 4 different topics that we've studied, crime and punishment, etc., that is on the 26th of May. So I'm going to talk about what the religion paper looks like in terms of the 4 marker and the 5 marker, as well as the 12 markers. Just a reminder that to make up the 24 marks, you have a 1 mark multiple choice question and you have a 2 mark give 2 question, which is 2 bullet points, not 2 developed points. For the 4 marker and the 5 marker, you need 2 developed points, which I'll talk about. And the 12 marker, of course, is a balanced answer with evidence, reasons, and a judgment. We go through and use the sausage structure. You can use soj if you don't have enough to say, but the important thing is it's balanced, uses keywords, has reasons, and a judgment. Okay, the religion paper then. The religion paper will be in this order: Buddhist beliefs, which is, in terms of your textbook, Buddhist beliefs is the first chapter on Buddhism, and then Buddhist practices. So I'll go through what those include in a moment. And you'll also have, in the same paper on the 16th of May, the Christian beliefs and the Christian practices book. Now, in terms of what the paper looks like, let's have a look, shall we? Okay, so you can find all of this information at the AQA GCSE Religious Studies page. So if you just Google AQA Religious Studies GCSE, you then go to the assessment resources and you'll find past papers here, just if you want to see what the paper looks like. So let's take a look, shall we? Okay, so this is what the front page will look like. So you have two booklets. One will say Paper 1 Buddhism, one will say Paper 1 Christianity. And it literally looks like this. It's got all your information, and then you write in the booklet. So you've got the multiple choice, 2 marker, 4 marker, 5 marker, and 12 marker. If you want additional paper, of course you can ask for it. So let's take a look here. This is the paper from the 2020, from May 2020. You can see it says an hour and 45 minutes. And just so you can see here, it says before you open this book, you must ensure you also have the question paper and the answer book for the other religion option. So for you, when you sit down in the GCSE, you'll see a Buddhism paper and a Christianity paper. So 2 booklets. Okay, so the first thing you've got to do is check that you've got Buddhism and you've got Christianity. So you should see Buddhism and then you should see Christianity. So in the Buddhism paper, it talks about the SPAG marks as well. SPAG marks are assessed on the 12 marker questions in the beliefs section only, which means that you need to pay special attention to spelling in your 12 marker. Okay. It also says here you're advised to spend 50 minutes on the religion option, which is Buddhism, and 50 minutes on Christianity. So if 24 times 2 is 48. That's a mark a minute plus a couple of minutes just to check over your paper. Okay, so that's what the paper looks like, and they can be found, as I said, at AQA GCSE Religious Studies under the assessment resources, so you can see what the papers actually look like themselves. Okay, so some overall advice in terms of what to do to prepare and what the 4 marker and the 5 markers will look like. Okay, so the 4 marker questions will always say, explain how X influences Buddhists or Christians today. For example, if we go back to our paper, the Buddhist beliefs section, it says here, explain 2 ways, it will always say explain 2 ways in which something, so in this case the 3 marks of existence, influences Buddhists today. So it's talking about this thing, so you need to know about this thing, the 3 marks of existence, how it influences Buddhists today. Now, when it says how it influences, what does that mean? Well, it means how does it make them feel, how does it make them behave, how does it make them act? I'll give you another example if I go to the Teams group and the past paper questions. So you can see 4 markers here. Explain 2 ways that it influences, explain 2 ways it influences, explain 2 ways it influences. We can see it's the same style. So for here, explain 2 ways in which the foresights influenced the Buddha's teachings. Or explain 2 ways in which the Buddha's ascetic life influenced his later teachings. Explain 2 ways in which learning about the life of the Buddha influences Buddhists today. So it's talking about, when it says influences, how it makes them feel, how it makes them behave, and how it makes them act. There will be model answers as well, and we've practiced these in class. The 5 marker then is the same level of detail, which is 2 developed points. So this influences question, where it says explain 2, is talking about 2 developed points. Typically, we talk about using the PEE structure. So explain 2 influences will be 2 different paragraphs. 1 way in which it influences, a 2nd way in which it influences. And the 5 marker will always be explain 2 beliefs about something. So this isn't how it influences them, it's just explain 2 things about X. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. So for Buddhism, it says here, in fact, explain 2 of the 5 aggregates, but explain 2 beliefs about the 5 aggregates. It might well say. So let's have a look at the Christianity paper. Explain two Christian beliefs about the role of Jesus in salvation. Explain two Christian beliefs about. Okay, and then underneath that it will say refer to sacred writings or another source of Christian belief and teaching in your answer. Now what that means is you give two developed points, that's two PEEs, but crucially you need to include, if you can, a quote or as many key words as you can, but include the name of a person, a book, scripture, something to say where you got this information from. So for example, in that question, explain two Christian beliefs about the role of Jesus in salvation, you could say one Christian belief about the role of Jesus in salvation, which can be found in the New Testament. So you just need to mention the book. Like if you're using a quote, mention the book. That should say Pali Canon. So for Christianity, you might talk about the Bible, you might talk about the Catechism, you might talk about some of the other details that books that we've talked about. The more specific you can be, the better. So if you can say New Testament, if you could say the book that it's from within that, that would be amazing. But at a minimum, saying the Bible or the Pali Canon or the Dhammapada, or you could talk about Jesus, or you could talk about the Buddha or the Dalai Lama or the Pope. These would all be references to scripture or sacred writings. Okay, just some overall information about the 12 marker. By the way, there will be separate videos modelling how to answer these questions. Practice, practice, practice using this advice. So for the 12 marker, key words are vital. Okay, keywords, particularly for the study of religions paper, because you can't really use sort of modern day examples. You're just talking about the religions. Keywords are important. They are super, super, super important. So that's where your flashcards come into play. You will pretty much always have, well, I'll tell you what, I'll show you the past paper questions just so you can get a feel. Let's have a look at the 12 markers for Buddhism, shall we? As I said, these are found in the Teams group. So just here, we can say, it is not easy to achieve enlightenment. That was the 2019 paper. The Four Noble Truths are the most important Buddhist teaching. It is better to be a bodhisattva than an arhat. Now you might look at those and think, these are tricky. Yeah, these are tricky. They are. And they're probably the hardest questions you're going to face. So that is why it's so important to practice these questions specifically. And again, let's take a look at the Christianity paper. 12 markers. God cannot be loving because people suffer, and you can see the rest there as well. The Bible tells Christians all they need to know about God's creation. Tricky questions, and some of these we did in year 9, so that makes it all the more important that you practice, practice, practice. So when doing your sort of balanced, your sort of soj or your sausage, sort of for and against, you will use some Buddhists believe, other Buddhists believe, or some people may agree, or other people may disagree. If it's a question, you'll rarely use anything other than Christians or Buddhists, and you certainly won't use a different religion in Buddhism or Christianity. You can't say a Christian thinks that enlightenment is not important, because that's irrelevant. You have to just talk about Buddhists or Christians. The only exception is if, in the Christian paper, that's the actual paper, let's take a look at Teams. If it says something like, God cannot be loving because people suffer, if it's something that's criticising the religion, and you're aiming at the grades 9s, the 8s, the 7s, you can say, if it's criticising Christianity, you can say some atheists believe. And again, there is going to be a video to follow on how to write these questions specifically. It's really, really, really important, because you are going to be tight for timing to get, even if it's one line, to get a judgment. Really important, because that is the basic requirement of the question. As I said, as much detail as you can. Even if it feels like you're waffling, you might get some marks for it. So just try and show the examiner as much as you know. You don't get marked down for saying things that are not correct. You get marked for the things that you have said that are relevant. So as much as you can say, the more you can say, the better. Okay, So what to do in the final month? So from now to the 16th of May. Well, practice questions is by far and away the most effective thing to do. So can I suggest this cycle? Pick a topic, complete a past paper question on that topic. So pick one of the past paper questions from Teams, one of these. Complete it in time conditions, do as much as you can. Then, when you've finished it, go away and revise that topic from the textbook or from the exercise book, from your revision guide, and fill in any gaps in knowledge that you might have, like I didn't know what the 3 marks of existence were. Revise and then do the question again. Okay, that's what you need to be doing. Please use your revision grid. As I said, that can be found in your Teams group. And a reminder that it looks like this. Okay? You can see for the Christianity Paper 1 section, what I should be seeing from you, and you absolutely should see, is you should see these filled out multiple times for the topics that you are not confident on. Okay? A mixture of exam tasks and understanding tasks, please. That is how to help prepare you best for the exam. Okay, so for example, if you've got no idea about heaven and hell for Christians, do some flashcards on it. Task 6. Explain how the belief in hell influences Christians today. Practice that 4 marker. Tick it off. Alright, so 2 or 3 to prepare you best for the exam. As always, you can give it to us so we can give you some feedback. Okay, folks, and that's pretty much it for this video. More videos to follow on the ethics paper, and on how to answer the 4 markers, the 5 markers, and the 12 markers. Thanks for listening.